My name is Gary Meyer. Good evening and welcome to the Pere Marquette dinner. I'll be your MC this evening. And of course, the festivities include something we all look forward to, which is the presentation of the Excellence in Teaching Awards. To present these awards, I invite Provost Pauly to the stage.
So what do you think? Is Gary Meyer a pretty good choice for this year? Well, thanks everyone, and to everyone, and welcome to this 51st Pere Marquette celebration. I wanted to start with a couple of special thank yous to Suzanne Abler and Phyllis McCullough in my office, who worked hard to put this event together. Thanks also to Tammy Johnson and our special events staff for arranging tonight's wonderful dinner. This event calls us together each year to celebrate the work of Marquette's finest teachers. But these awards also recognize the values that bind us one to another. Our shared commitment to the care and intellectual nurture of the young women and men who come to Marquette seeking its special style of Jesuit education. The work that you do with our students drives every other activity of this university. I applaud that work wherever it occurs. In the classroom, the laboratory, the broader community. So thank you personally and deeply for your effort and talent and learning. I ask the Dean of the College of Nursing, Dr. Margaret Callahan, to please come to the stage to present the second Reverend John P. Rayner, S.J. Faculty Award for Teaching Excellence.
Good evening. It is a pleasure to be here. And yes, Gary, I am one of those 3 new female deans at Marquette. I'm not sure what the problem is. We'll talk later, okay? I'd like to thank the members of the awards committee for the opportunity to recognize and celebrate the accomplishment of one of the College of Nursing's most admired faculty members, Dr. Christine Shaw. Dr. Shaw exemplifies the qualities that are essential in a clinical practice discipline such as nursing. She is a scholar, a master teacher, a mentor, and one of the most highly qualified practitioners I have ever had the privilege to observe and learn from. She has been a member of the Marquette community for many, many years, and I won't give the number, Chris. Long before I came to Marquette last summer, I had heard of Dr. Shaw's commitment to excellence in the classroom and the clinical area. Dr. Lisa Hansen calls it legendary Chris Shaw. Let me explain. Over the years, I have had many Marquette students in my graduate courses in Chicago. In particular, I taught pathophysiology and pharmacology, which are courses that Chris teaches here. Marquette students clearly had a superior background, and when questioned, especially in the area of renal pathophysiology, Chris, which she describes as the long, windy path through the glomerulus, Marquette students clearly said it was because of Dr. Shaw's teaching methods. They described her ability to take complex concepts and explain them in terms of patient care situations that they could understand. I recently had 2 students in a course I was teaching, and when they were told that I was now at Marquette, almost in unison, they said, "Chris Shaw was my favorite teacher." It was amazing to me, and this is what I've heard for many, many years. In addition to Dr. Shaw's ability in the classroom, she demonstrates the meaning of Marquette values in so many ways. She typically holds many, many, many weekly review sessions for her students. I asked her one time why she did that, and she said, "I have to. Their schedules are so crazy. I have to meet with them when they can meet with me." She says, it's not extra time. It's just what I do. I need to know they know their material. Well, it is extra work, and I doubt there are too many faculty that give so much of themselves as Chris does to their students. Dr. Shaw's own personal philosophy as teaching is based on caring. One thing she says is, I believe that students thrive on realistic expectations. Ask them to soar, support them in the process, and they will soar. She's highly enthusiastic and communicates to each student just how important he or she is to her. She is as effective in an undergraduate classroom as she is in graduate courses. And we've heard descriptions about singing and things. I haven't heard Chris sing, but I have seen her fly around a classroom, and she's quite animated. And any of you that know Chris personally know that she can be very entertaining, right? Dr. Shaw sets rigorous standards for her students. Not only does she set those standards, but she skillfully guides our students as they successfully meet requirements. She is a role model to our students in every aspect of our nursing curriculum, not only in the classroom, but as a nurse practitioner with an active practice at the Marquette Women and Children's Clinic. She cares for the sickest, poorest, and most disenfranchised members of our community who require free care. She reminds our students of the needs to give back, not only in words, but in her own actions. Perhaps one of our students says it best. This past summer, I was fortunate to work with Dr. Shaw in a much different capacity at the Marquette Clinic for Women and Children. I became acquainted with Dr. Shaw, the nurse. What I have found in my time at the clinic is a woman who lives, breathes, and witnesses the Marquette mission. What I have seen in Dr. Shaw in this clinical practice far surpasses the technical and routine skills of a nurse, and she serves as an inspiration to me on what I want to become. Dr. Shaw works with women and children without health care insurance or prescription drugs. She provides for them their God-given right to good health. The student goes on to say how Chris calls patients from home at night, and I'm sure her family can attest to that, purchases supplies, food, and cookbooks out of her own pocket. I don't know if they know that. But the student said, really, what better way is there to teach than by example? Dr. Shaw's commitment to teaching excellence extends to her work in the College of Nursing leadership positions as chair of our undergraduate program committee. She promotes excellence in teaching across the program. She's a thoughtful evaluator and mentor to junior faculty. Despite her incredibly heavy teaching load, she finds time to participate in university governance, currently chairing the University Board of Undergraduate Studies. So you see, to be an accomplished teacher in a discipline such as nursing, it requires a commitment to teaching, scholarship, and practice, because relevance in the classroom comes from excellence in practice. So may I introduce to you Dr. Christine Shaw, one of the most inspirational and exceptional nurse educators I have ever had the privilege to meet. In recognition of demonstrated ability to inspire students to seek the ideals of the university and to cause them to grow in the knowledge and scholarship for the glory of God and the goodness of humanity, Christine Shaw is granted the Reverend John P. Rayner Faculty Award for Teaching Excellence. Congratulations, Chris.
This is so cool. It's like a eulogy, but you're not dead. This is such an exciting experience. Thank you, Dean Callahan. That was a beautiful introduction. And thank you so much to the awards committee. I feel so honored. I just thank you very, very much. And my friends and colleagues in the College of Nursing, thank you so much for the nomination. Thank you for your support. I know you wrote letters. I know you got students to write letters. You must have done a really, really good job. I love teaching. It makes me so excited. There is nothing I like more than to being in a classroom full of students or in a virtual classroom. That gets me excited too. In fact, my sophomores in pathophysiology have informed me this semester that I could actually tone it down just a tad, because at 8 o'clock Monday morning, I'm a little much. But I really do like it. I sat down when I should probably tell you, they told us we had what was 4 to 6 minutes. And so I kept this little clock and I kept looking and looking. And so I began walking my 2 Labradors. And we're walking around the neighborhood and I'm practicing what I'm going to say. Of course, I haven't said anything that I practice up until this point, but that's okay. I'm walking these Labradors and I'm just praying that my neighbors think I have a cell phone in my ear and that I'm not schizophrenic. Anyway, I love teaching. I've been teaching a very, very long time, but I still get very excited about the fact that every week students ask me questions that I've never thought of before or that no other student has asked. And I find that very challenging to help those students figure out the answer. And I feel so fortunate that I teach here at Marquette. I mean, cura personalis is very, very important to all of us. And I've had the opportunity, because of committees in the university I've been on, to really get an opportunity to see how good we are at teaching at this university. We are special. And when I look at cura personalis, I'm not talking about that fuzzy, warm feeling that you look at the student and say, I really, really like you. Because sometimes I do, and other times it's a little less. But what this caring really is that we here are different. We care that these students are engaged. We really care that they're learning. And it's not that they're learning for this next test, nor is it that they're even preparing for the next course. We really want them to be changed human beings. This transformational education is real to us, and I think we're really different than most universities. The second part of this caring comes with really caring about how we teach and how they learn. Now let's face it, those auditory learners, no problem. You stick them in a discussion group, they're great. You do a great lecture with lots of stories and lots of analogies, they get it. It's those other groups, those auditory learners, those kinesthetic learners. And I'm sitting here being really nervous because my daughter-in-law is finishing her master's here at the university in education, and I know I'm not saying the types of learners correctly, but I'll hear about it later. So finding ways of helping them learn is tremendously exciting. And you know, when you look at the types of learning that we engage in here, the types of strategies we use. Guy Akai from Communications, did you see in the Sentinel Journal about 2 weeks ago? She teaches using Twitter. Do you tweet or whatever this is? So I immediately emailed her and said, Guy, you know, I need to talk about this. I have no idea even what that is, and so I'm having coffee with her next week to see if I can incorporate tweeting, whatever that is. I'll know it by next week into my work. It is so much fun to be able to come up with crazy, wonderful ideas to get these students to really learn. My favorite course is the course that I teach the graduate students who are going to be either nurse practitioners or nurse midwives. It's a virtual exam room. At the beginning of every week, they get patients walking into this virtual exam room, and there's a photograph. And this is all on D2L, and D2L is not always my favorite thing, but you know, it does its work. And they get the photograph, and then they ask questions of the patient, me. And I get to be a person. I have a personality. I have an ethnicity. I have a health problem. And they ask all those questions. And then as we move through the week, they say, well, show me their throat. And I get to find great, Google Images, my friend. I get to find great ugly tonsils. And I put them up, and they say, let me listen to their lungs. And I get to give them lung sounds and heart sounds. Give me an EKG, give me laboratory values, and I get to feed all these things to them. And so they're really learning a process as well as the content. It's just so much fun and so exciting to be able to do this. Well, as you can see, I really love what I do. I think of teaching, it's a fountain of youth for the mind. It doesn't work really good for the body, but it is really, really good for the mind. And I am just so grateful and so honored that somebody, you know, that would you give an award to someone who, you know, for doing what they absolutely love to do. I mean, I would do it for free. I love this. So, Margaret, Margaret, I didn't want to renegotiate my contract. That's really okay. So thank you so very much.
And with that, I conclude, leaving you with my best wishes for a pleasant finish to the semester. To you professors, happy grading. That's one thing I don't miss about teaching. I love teaching, but not that. And an enjoyable and productive summer. Again, my warm thanks to you, really, truly, for all the great things you do for Marquette. May God bless you, your loved ones, and may we continue to do great work together here at Marquette University.
I don't suppose that you'll be calling me to head up that Centennial Committee to celebrate 100 years of women at the university. Finally, one committee I won't be on. Dean Callahan wants to know what my problem is. I'll be the first to admit I have some issues. And as my 12-year-old pointed out the other day, he said, "Dad, you don't just have issues, you have the whole subscription." Maybe you should talk to him. I'd like to congratulate and extend my heartiest and sincerest congratulations to the Teaching Award winners this evening. As is evident, there really are an extraordinary group of individuals who are well deserving of the award. I'd like to just congratulate them one more time. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who was with us tonight and could share this wonderful, wonderful celebration. I bid you good night and God bless.